Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sporting160EN transfer roundup, week commencing the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July that's already just gone to all the Americans out there. Hope you had a good day. Before we get into it, let me first introduce my main man from the Six, Mr. Danny Saldana. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Since we're shouting out the Americans, let me shout out the Canadians. Our day was July 1st, back in Friday. So happy Canada Day. But more importantly, in regards to this podcast, happy 116th to our beloved Sporting. Happy 116th, Sam.
Happy 116th, bro. And to celebrate, I'm wearing my clean, fresh Sporting hoodie.
Finally restocked, huh?
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, I'm a big boy, but I got the 2XL, which usually fit like in terms of like the actual tops, but this is like humongously
that's big, bro.
Big. But like, I like my hoodies big, so it works out. But
yeah,
it is very clean. It is very nice. It's very comfortable. I think there's still some in stock, so if you guys are listening, definitely make a purchase. But yeah, I am, as always, Sam Fonseca. Feel free to follow us on Twitter as well. The links were just there. And also don't forget to subscribe. We're still around 300 away from 1,000. If we get to 1,000 by the end of the year, be a great help. So thank you for everyone who has subscribed. But without further ado, let's get into the top stories. And I'll start off with, I guess, the one that we all knew was coming, but has been officially announced yesterday, was that João Palhinha was officially sold. The final fee being 20 million plus 2 in objectives. And we've spoken about this last week, so I won't get into too much into it. But I'm going to ask you one question only, Danny. And what is your favorite Palhinha moment?
That's a great question, bro. Nothing comes to mind right now. The only thing that comes to mind is the almost bangers that he almost scored, you know?
Yeah.
I have a lot of those memories. Oh, what was the game? What was the game where I don't know if we were just up 1-0 or if it was like 2-1 or something. I don't feel like it was a derby game or anything. Anyways, he comes in with a slide tackle, and this was our title winning year, obviously, and he celebrated that thing like it was a goal.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, he had a few of those, but there was one. I feel like it was maybe like Boavista or something.
Yeah, I think it might have been Boavista. Yeah, you're right.
I loved that attitude from Palhinha, to be honest. That's up there. Or even him crying. Remember when he thought he like pulled a hamstring the week before he played Benfica or some shit like that?
Oh yeah.
And he showed that he like loved the club and stuff. I'm gonna miss him, man. I'm not gonna lie. I seen that like little 30-minute clip that he had on Sporting TV where he was talking, like they were doing a little interview. And then after, like towards the end, he's like addressing the fans and he like gets emotional and stuff, and it takes him like a minute to like really like collect himself and actually like talk to the fans and be like, thank you. It wasn't like the best journey, or it wasn't not the best journey. It wasn't the most like linear journey. There was times where he was saying like he felt like his time at Sporting, like, especially that loan to Braga, like there was no way he'd be back. I think he was also hinting at like 2 summers ago when we almost sold him to CSKA Moscow. So yeah, man, what a player. What a gentleman too. A lot of times we're always talking about how we form players, but not all mage. This time we got a good guy. So the best of Palhinha, the time is right to be fair to him, but he'll be missed for sure. How about you, Sam? What's your favorite memory of Palhinha?
It's not really a memory per se, but every time I think of him in the white shirt versus Nacional, where we played like the game that was just like on the muddiest pitch, and he was absolutely covered in mud because he was still going for every tackle, trying to get every ball. And like every time I think of that title winning season, that's one of the images that pops into my head. I think it's him and Nuno Santos, the ones that are absolutely covered. Like there is just no more white on the shirt. So that one definitely. But I think as well that, I mean, yeah, like you said, a good move him in the right time. But I'm going to ask you one more and then we'll move on. What should Fulham fans expect from João Palhinha?
Yeah, man. A true defensive midfielder, a guy who's not afraid to put in a tackle, a player who may not be the best technically, we'll say, but he can still string some passes together. He still plays well in the structure. Nutmeg Pogba. I know we all actually, now that I remember, his technical ability is good.
Yeah.
Won a ball with his ass. Nutmeg Pogba. Just a hard worker, though, So, and that's what Fulham need, to be honest. Is they're gonna try to stay in this league. They need people like that. I also see they're gonna try to get, or they're getting, Andres Pereira from Man U, who's been linked to Sporting. I feel like back in like Marco Silva days. So I think Marco Silva is finally constructing the team that he wanted at Sporting only like 5 years later, which is great.
They call him the preseason Pirlo because he's so good in preseason. So hopefully he carries that on. But I feel like we've spoken about Palhinha in literally every episode. So I think we'll move on for now. Obviously, thank you for your service. I know you're not watching, but I appreciate him. He was a great player and a great player.
Hopefully we can have him in the pod now.
Yeah, his English seems to be pretty decent.
His English isn't bad. It's not bad, bless him. So,
not bad.
We'll shoot him some DMs.
Yeah, we'll try our best. Next one is I'll say a rumor. It's almost been confirmed now that Francisco Trincao will be a Sporting player. The deal is a 1-year loan plus an option to buy for 20 million euros, and Sport will pay his entire wages. And that comes from the Spanish, very respectable newspaper, Sport. So, Danny, what are your thoughts on the overall deal? This is another sort of transfer saga that's been going on for months, it feels like. What are your entire thoughts on this deal?
Yeah, I've been saying it for a while now. I think it's a move that we need to make. I think we need a Sarabia replacement. Trincao, he's not as good as Sarabia, obviously. Sarabia also has a lot more years on him, a lot more experiences, more maturity. But there's a player in Trincao, man. He had flashes in that first season at Barca. I know last season didn't go to plan, but he had flashes in that first season at Barca that were just unreal. And then also him playing under Amorim at Braga, there were moments that were ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Price tag.
That's quite the move, I suppose. The big move to Barcelona, I suppose, was the playing under Amorim.
Exactly. Which won't be the first. I think that might be the only real big move that player under Amorim has made. Like to a big club, I guess. I can't think of any other.
From Braga.
Even at Sporting, I can't think of a move to like, okay, Palhinha went to Fulham, but
Nuno Mendes,
yeah, I forgot about that. Good point. But yeah, anyways, what was I saying? 20 mil is a lot, but for a player, what is he, 21, 22? He was sold for like 30. Barcelona are broke. My only issue is we've haggled on this for so long, and it's still the same negotiation that it started with. It's not even a 2-year loan. They're saying it's a 1-year loan, and then the option to buy is at the end, right?
Yeah,
if it's a 2-year loan with an option to buy at the end, like we had with Poru. I don't know. I don't get why it took so long. Maybe it was Barcelona's end, not ours. Maybe so I'll give us the benefit of the doubt there. But I'm happy. We need a Trincao, and then obviously we're gonna go into Rushing as well. But those two players, I think, will definitely improve us a lot.
Yeah, facts are pretty much what you said. I'm not gonna repeat too much, but I think it's a good move. And even if he does do well, let's be honest, we're still going to try and get that value of 20 million down to like 18 or 17, off a percentage of pass and things like that. But I think it's a good move for club and player. We've definitely needed a winger. I feel like as good as Nuno Santos and Marcus Edwards is, Nuno Santos, I think he's better than a left back than a winger. And Marcus Edwards still apparently isn't it like to Amorim's play style, whereas Trincao has already got that sort of installed in him from playing at Braga before. So I think it's a good deal all around. Like you said, it's just something that it's taken so long just to be the original deal is a bit disheartening. But I think it's also sort of risk-free. So we're paying for a loan. It's probably going to be like 1-2 million loan fee. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and we can send him back. There's no obligation. There's nothing like the Vinagre deal. So I think overall it's a good deal. And if he plays well, he might be a new record signing, especially let's say we make round of 16 in the Champions League and we win the league. That's pretty much pay for himself, I suppose. But I think a very good deal, and hopefully that is the deal. I said it's a very reliable source in Spain, but obviously then you never know what could happen. And to me, unless record confirms it, then I'm still on the fence. But hopefully that will be it. Segueing to record, and you brought up earlier, Rochinha from Vitória Guimarães has signed for Sporting for 2 million euros for 90%. One that definitely came out of nowhere, wasn't rumored, wasn't. I think it was on the day it was rumored. An hour later, it was confirmed, and that was like in the afternoon. So it wasn't even a speculation. Nothing like that. But what are your thoughts on the signing? I know it's a bit of a weird one and a random one, but what are your thoughts? I don't know if you've watched much of him, but let me know.
No, I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. We basically took Guimarães' two best players in my eyes. Age and stuff. 27, fairly young, experienced in the Portuguese league. He can play, in different, like he can play on the wings. He can also play in midfield, but not often. But he can still do that. He's sort of like a pot, in my opinion. But he's for the price. I think he's perfect. I was seeing a stat yesterday. I was floating around on Twitter that balls recovered in his own half were like 1.8 or something like that per game, which is like an amazing record. And a player like that is perfect for a moving system that presses the ball the moment we lose it, right? Man, for the price, you can't go wrong. I think it's a perfect time to buy a Guimarães because those boys are desperate. I can't complain too much about this deal, man. Instead of Samuel Lino, who's maybe a bit better offensively or a bit better of a player in general, we're getting maybe a cheaper deal. Yeah, man, I'm a fan of this move, and I'm a fan of how quick it was. It wasn't, we're trying to get 2 million for 100 or like 3 million for 50 or whatever. Like, what it is. It's a good deal, I think. My only worry is, what does this mean for Jovan? What does this mean for who's probably out the door, right? But I think Jovan can play a good role, even as a second striker. But what does this mean for Jovan? What does this mean for Tabata, who I think there's a great player in Tabata, but now, we're looking at our wingers. We have like 5 or 6 now. We have Pot, Marcus, the Ghanaian boy, I forget his name.
Fatuaku.
Yeah, exactly. We have Roshinha. We have Trincao coming. We have, I'm forgetting, now we have Tabata. That's 6, for only 2 positions. I think that means that Tabata's on his way out, unfortunately, because I think there's a player there. I think there's a player that might be even better than Roshinha, to be honest. But we barely played him in 2 years, so I don't blame him for wanting to go or if he goes. But that's my only downside to this move. But it's a good move. I can't complain.
Yeah, I agree. I think for 2 million, you can't really go wrong, especially with the 90%. It's not like we pay 50. So I know he's 27, but I say he has a really good season. We could sell him for like 15 and we get most of the profits. So it's good in that way. But I agree with sort of the Jovan and Tabata aspect. We've got so many wingers, and it feels like we've got so many wingers, but not a lot of midfielders or not a lot of defenders. Yeah. So I wish it would sort of be the other way around, because we had so many injuries to our defenders last year, where our wingers were pretty much fine. In all honesty, I know Pop picked up an injury, but I think that was it. Sarabia was fit. Palhinha was mostly fit for the season as well up top. So yeah, but I think that confirms Jovan is gone. Jovan hasn't even been back to training yet, so I'm pretty sure he's out the door. Tabata we'll speak about later in the episode, but again, I think it's done for him unless Amorim maybe converts him to sort of a number 8 and he comes off the bench for Matheus Nunes, which I could see happening, to be fair. He's very versatile, as we saw last season, playing left, right, striker. And also, I think against Man City, he played the number 8 role as well. Yeah. So definitely something to look out for. But in terms of the entire deal, Guimarães' president said that, he asked to leave and we need money. So I guess it worked out. But I'm looking at it now. I generally would watch out for Vitória to be one of the favourites to go down. Sort of like a Rio Ave of what happened. Because remember, they played against AC Milan, took them to penalties, or extra time. I think it was penalties. And the following season went down, and they were cash strapped that season as well. And like you said, they've lost Estupiñán, who was their top goal scorer. He lost him on a free. They lost obviously Marcus Edwards. They didn't get Jenny Catamo or Gonzalo Plata. So you never know. They lost Ricardo Quaresma as well, who I'm sure was a huge.
He barely played, to be fair, but yeah.
Yeah, but you never know. Yeah, it definitely. I think it definitely could happen. Definitely one to watch out for, because I believe if they lose any more money or they don't make enough, they might be fined by the league as well, or FIFA. I can't remember exactly what the situation was, but definitely one to look out for. And maybe Sporting go shopping there again throughout this window. There's some good players there, and not even just Sporting. That I really like Bruno Varela. I know he didn't have the best time at Benfica, but I think he's like a genuine nice guy as well, and also a very good footballer. And obviously, there's a few others which I won't name, but you know,
I will. Let me just also say, from Guimarães, I would love an André Almeida, either
going to
middle or
Porto,
left.
apparently.
Yeah,
yeah, but apparently that's like almost done.
That's a good move for him. There's also another kid named Thomas Hendel. He played a bit on the senior team last year. I think it's his breakthrough year this year. Portuguese and like Czech or something, or Austrian or German or some shit. Great player there too. A decent midfielder in there. So I see what you're saying about relegation. Depends how much more they're going to sell. If they're going to sell Almeida, they're probably going to sell a bunch. But I see what you mean about relegation. I don't think so, but they're not getting anywhere near Europa or Conference League.
The thing is with that as well is Gil Vicente have lost so much as well. Lost their manager, lost their best players. Obviously, Samuel Lina going back to Leti and Navarro going back to Valencia. Yeah, exactly.
Lost a bunch. Yeah.
The only team I think probably improved. Yeah, definitely. But I was just going to say like Estoril probably going to be back up there because they were close until like mid-season. They sort of dropped off. Santa Clara just want to sell their players whenever they can. It feels like even their best ones.
Yeah.
But you know, it'll be interesting. And of course, we'll probably do a preseason pod soon. The fixtures were released, so might be good to do something like that. But keep an eye out for that. Next story, I guess, was confirmed literally about 2 hours before we went on air, and that is goalkeeper Franco Israel is signed for Sporting until 2026, I believe, an 800,000 fee. So definitely a cheap deal for a backup. I'm going to assume you've not watched much of him, and because I definitely haven't.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know what there is to say. It's a backup goalkeeper, I guess. He's young, so he can still improve. I believe he's only 22. Uruguayan, so works with Coates in Ugarte.
The Uruguayan boys do seem to be hyped about it, especially Ugarte. So
yeah, definitely. So I mean, one for the future as well. I believe we own, I want to say 60 or 70% of his pass. So even if he does turn out to be good, it's one that could money. Yeah, exactly. Or could even be, he might be sort of in the position to take over Adan as number one. I know Amorim's spoken about Diogo Calai, who I think is going to be a very good goalkeeper in the future. But remember, he's still 17, 18, so I don't think he'll be ready. But let's hope like Joel Virginia was last year, I guess, because Joel Virginia was fine, I would say. He wasn't good, he wasn't bad, just fine. So he's not going to play a lot anyway. He'll play like the Taça Liga games, I'd assume, and maybe some Taça Portugal and some Champions League games here and there if everything's already wrapped up. So, yeah, there's not much really to say about that one. So I'll move on to the next one. And this one is Diogo Abreu from Porto. 1.2 million. It was the official fee. They had to pay compensation due to the Liga rules, which I believe I checked the other day. Any player under the age of 24, if only if they're offered a new contract, will have to pay compensation. If they just let them walk and we sign them, then it's just they go for free. But again, still stupid in my opinion anyway. Yeah, but this guy apparently is very highly rated among Porto fans. So again, I've not seen much of him play. I don't know if you have at all.
Not really either. Just the highlights that have been like floating around the internet. Looks good. I mean, the reviews are high. Like they're super big on this kid. So
yeah, and Amorim definitely has the eye for youth talent with the Gonzalo Esteves as well.
Yeah,
and obviously we're not seeing him play that much yet. But Fatuaku, I believe is his name. I could be butchering that massively, but yeah, definitely got an eye for talent. So hopefully this kid turns out to be a stud. Apparently training with the B team and the A team, so he's going to float in between them two, I assume. Yeah. I believe 19 years of age as well, so not the oldest, and definitely got time to improve. So definitely one to look out for the future. And this one, I'd say, definitely not for this season. But the final big news, I will say, happened so long ago now. I'll say so long ago, about I think officially about a week or maybe 6 days ago. Morita was announced, and it was the longest, the most drawn-out transfer saga I think we've ever had, and we've had a lot of them. This was being reported in, I believe, near the end of April before the season had even finished, and it only just got announced at the 2nd or 1st of July with the new away kit, by the way, which I think looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were your overall thoughts on the deal? I believe it was 3.5 million euros for him for the Santa Clara. What is your opinion on the kid?
I'm only worried. The kid, he's 27. I'm only worried that well, actually, he's my age, so yes, he is a kid.
A kid.
I'm only worried that it was all this drawn out stuff for like an average player. That's my only worry. I've said it a million times. I hope to get proven wrong. I don't. Man, Porto signed oh my god, what's his name? Eustaquio for that price. Maybe I'm a little biased because I see him play for the Canadian national team, but I think he's leaps and bounds better than Morita. I think that money, of course, Eustaquio wasn't interested in Sporting, he wanted to go up north, but I think that money would have been better spent off on an Eustaquio or finding a deal elsewhere. I'm just curious as to what this means now, right? Like, it seems like Matheus Nunes isn't leaving, which is amazing news. Ugarte's obviously going to be, basically that partnership. Is it going to be like a rotating between the three with Bragança, or is Morita going to get more minutes? Is Morita going to be more of is Morita going to start with Nunes? Because Morita, I think, is being tipped as like a 6. I don't know if he truly is a 6, but that's what he's being touted as, at least, and that's what he played for most part in Santa Clara. It's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, I'm only worried that it was drawn out for nothing, really. But we'll see. Let's hope that the guy actually does well and he proves me wrong. That's nothing. I want nothing more than that. But yeah, I think our midfield now is sorted, which is great. We have 4 there with the Sugu, with maybe Tabata or even Roshin. I think, and he's been playing the midfield spot, like if Tabata leaves. So that's done. Wingers are done. We need a striker or 2, and we need maybe more defenders. But I was just thinking, because you were mentioning that, maybe Marsa is being looked at as like either a left back this year or a center back. I'm hoping it's Matheus Reis at left back, but that's also rotation for the middle. I just think after Trincao, we still need one more bit of business there. But anyways, Morita, what are your thoughts, Sam?
I didn't watch a lot of Santa Clara last year, but from what I did see, he seems to be, like you said, a somewhat average player. Not great, not bad, but I think. Go on, what are you going to say?
He's their best player, right? Don't get me wrong. He was their best player, but
well, Lincoln, I'd say first.
Oh yeah, Lincoln, fair. Yeah. Well, his best, their best. Yeah, that's a good point. Lincoln, their second best player then.
Yeah,
especially fair. When it came to transitioning from the defense to the offense, right? He was good there, but aside from that, it's Santa Clara at the same time, right?
Yeah,
Santa Clara who beat us, but Santa Clara.
Yeah, fact. But I think at the end of the day, I guess I trust Amorim's judgment. I'm sure the scouts have done their work and he's done his work. But I think as well, from what I understand or from what I can see, we'll be going with Matheus Nunes and Ugarte in the middle. So I assume Morita will only be a backup, or maybe if Ugarte gets tired or Ugarte gets injured, sort of switch to his role. Because I guess that's what, if Palhinha wasn't leaving, that would probably be what he would be doing. But I think then Mateus for Bragança will be the other swap that will be sort of substitution or rotation. So I think we definitely needed a holding midfielder. I don't think anyone in the B team under 23s are ready to take that role yet. So I think, especially, it was a cheap deal, I suppose. I know 3.5 million isn't really cheap by Sporting standards. It's still quite a high transfer value. But the way inflation in the market and stuff is going up, and the way we've spent Paulinho and even St. Just this window was one of our most expensive signings ever. It's not bad business at all. So, I've not watched much in place. I can't give an exact response, I guess, to that question. But, it's sort of trusting Amorim and hope the kid does well. Well, he's not a kid. I'm sorry. He's 27. He's an old boy now.
He's a kid. He's young.
The last thing I'll say on it does worry me a bit of the sort of communication issue, because as we reported, that he doesn't speak English, doesn't speak Spanish or Portuguese, which is a first for Amorim in history. Even at Casapia or Braga, didn't sign anyone like that. He always signed English, Spanish or Portuguese players. So that does concern me a bit. But like you said, he's already been in Portugal for a year and he comes with a translator. So
Yeah, but like, is the translator? I don't know, man. I don't like things like that. At least get your
yeah,
English better.
I don't know if the translator will be on like the bench, like because I don't
But
understand
I'm
how
just
it's going
saying,
to
like,
work.
even in training sessions, right? Is the translator going to be there? Like,
I think so. Yeah, he must be on like the side, I suppose.
that's weird. I guess. Whatever. I mean, it's not the first time it's ever happened, right? But
Yeah, I think when George Jesus first signed Dumbia, he had to get like Salin to be the translator. I suppose I remember that conversation happening off
But
the bench.
at least there's like a teammate that's helping
Yeah,
him out, right?
yeah,
Even
true.
in fuck, I just had the example in my mind. But even in the MLS, there's a ton of players that come here that don't speak English, right? Which
Yeah,
is whatever. Like, I understand that, but I don't know. In this case, where it's such a tight knit group, and like, the big thing about Sporting isn't that we're like, not that we're bad, but we're not like exceptional. If anything, it's just the teamwork that gets us through most games.
yeah,
Um, Having a communication issue is another little annoyance that I have from this deal. But I think, if I'm being honest, I think this was like probably our second option. I think the real person we wanted was Al Musrati. It's just, we're not forking over 12, 14 million for him.
yeah. I agree with that, and I think not that I think we would pay the price, but I think with Saint just coming in at 10,
Yeah.
and
Trincao
Trincao
at
potentially
20.
coming at 20, yeah, exactly. It's just
That'd be
not
insane.
viable.
Plus Poru, we just paid for Poru. That's
Yeah,
like 8.
and then obviously Marcus Edwards was paid in January. We don't know
Yeah.
if that was actually paid in January or if it was in installments and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the top stories. You can go ahead and take the rest of the news. Feel free to interject if you want to ask any questions or you want to hear my opinion on anything. But
Absolutely.
go ahead, man.
Yeah. Kamashu, like we said, last pod, will sign for Adish in Greece, which is, I think, a good move for him. I don't know about you, Sam, but I think getting out of his comfort zone in Portugal might be even better. He barely played in Belenenses last season, or
Mhm.
Belenenses last season. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, he was injured quite a bit. What is really strange though, so he's been linked to Burnley, and I'm gonna put on cancel one of the Ojogo reports, which is that Reading are also interested, and like I see the replies to all of those like comments, and they're like, "Oh, we need to sign him. He could be a game changer. He's this, he's that," and I'm like, he is. No disrespect, because obviously I'm not a footballer, but he is one of the worst players I think I saw put on a Sporting shirt that season, and they
Yeah.
were many of them. And like, obviously, he was at Liverpool, so the talent must be there, but he has no end product whatsoever. He cannot finish to save his life. Ria Wavi had a decent loan spell, but they got relegated still. Bernard Sad, again, relegated. So, I mean, let's hope Aris don't get relegated, man. He seems to be a curse, but I guess any
Yeah.
move for him at this point is good. And I believe they are paying percentage of his salary as well. So good to get a little bit of his 1.3 million off the
Off
books,
the
I
books,
suppose.
yeah, 100%. Vinag has interest from Fulham, Fenerbahce, and Nottingham Forest. I think it seems like Nottingham Forest is leading the way there. We talked about him last week, though. Sporting don't want Roberton of Almeria. Seems too expensive, anyways. A baller reporting that Matheus Nunes has interest from AC Milan, Italian champions. Sam, thoughts on? Do you think, one, is Matheus Nunes actually going to go this season, and two, where would you like to see him go if he does?
Yeah. So on our last pod with Albert from Longwall Football, shout out Albert, by the way. I said that I think Palhinha and Matheus are both leaving like 100%, and I still stand by it. I know there's been reports of him like joining Wolves and stuff, but like I feel like this is going to be something sort of similar to what Nuno Mendes was last year, where he was just always rumored out, and like he played in the first few games in August, and then he got loaned out to PSG. So
Yeah.
I think yeah, definitely he's gonna go, and I think, I mean, I don't like Wolves. I've always made that clear, just because of George Mendes and João Moutinho, like the two reasons I hate that club, and obviously Patricio going there as well in Podence. So I'm not a fan of that. But I mean, AC Milan is a good move for him, guaranteed Champions League football, and I think they've just got a recent takeover as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. So
Yeah.
definitely an exciting project over there. as much as I don't like Rafael Leao, the person, the player,
Killing
he's fantastic. Yeah, no doubt about it. But genuinely, I'm going to ask you this question as well. But what bid would you accept to get rid of Matheus Nunes? Like the lowest you would go.
I'm biased. Listen, I think we shouldn't accept anything less than 40, 45.
Oh, damn.
He's young and talented. Portuguese international.
Yeah. I was going to say 45, 50. But I think...
Listen, no, I'm with you. Actually. That's my original, but I was like, okay, let's tame it down a bit. But yeah, 45, 50 at the very least. But then I think it's like Bruno Fernandes went for that. And he was at a whole other level than Matheus Nunes. So exactly. I don't see. I think 30 million comes in and we're saying yes. It's just up to Matheus to take the contract.
The only thing that scares me about keeping players was that sort of like the William Carvalho issue. Obviously, I know Alcochete will probably never happen again, but we were rejected bids of 40, 45, and it was like, oh, we're going to get someone when we get 50. And he ended up leaving for 18 or whatever it was. And like, obviously, not Alcochete, but like injuries can happen to a player. You don't know his form, especially towards January onwards, literally just went straight down. And he arguably one off, if not the worst midfielders in the team, I think. And I think his poor performances also led to Palhinha's poor performances as well. But yeah, I would say 45 million minimum. But I also think if he does go, I would love to see Pot in his role, which I believe he played at Famalicão as number 8. I think that is where Pot will probably shine and get most goals. So even if Matheus does go, I mean, I like him as a player, but if recent form goes by any stretch or like means anything, then maybe it's time to cash out while it's still high. Like, you never know what could happen in football these days. We've seen it with other players that get massive bids of like 40, 45 million and then just go straight down in value. So like, you know, look what happened to Joel Murray, for example. We sold him for 45 and we cashed out. And I don't think he was ever worth that much, by the way, which was a great deal by Bruno de Carvalho at the time. But look how bad like his career went. He got loaned out to Lokomotiv Moscow, West Ham, and he flopped there. Like, you never know what could happen. So I'm always just going to say, I guess, cash out while value's still high. I still think we could probably push 55, 60 million. Like maybe in objectives like 45 plus 10, because I believe it was 45 plus 5 is what Fabrizio Romano reported that Wolves offered. And I think Randers said it was acceptable and left it up to him. So yeah, I guess 45 plus 5 isn't bad, or 45 plus 10. But I would like him signed for AC Milan or Man City, but I think Man City have just signed a midfielder, so I think that kills
Calvin Phillips. Yeah, listen, the only thing I really like about this is that it seems like he doesn't want to go, which makes me happy. But yeah, the risk of even of what happened to Palhinha, maybe if we sold Palhinha last summer, he'd be gone for like 30, 35. And now we just sold him for 20. So we run that risk, but I think that's the right thing to do. Let's run the risk. We can't, if we lose both Palhinha and Matheus Nunes, just say bye-bye to competing for the league, in my opinion. Lille are watching Tabata. So like we mentioned earlier, Tabata seems like he's on the way out. Like we just mentioned, Matheus Nunes didn't want to join Wolves. Panathinaikos wanting Slimani. I think it's a good move for Slimani personally. Still playing in green and white, playing in a less competitive league, trying to rebuild Panathinaikos. Panathinaikos, I think, had a decent season last year. They've been finishing like 10th, 11th. I'm not mistaken, they finished like 4th last season or something, which in Greece is good now that, you know, they have obviously Olympiacos. But
for some reason, I always imagine them from like 2006, 2007 being very good.
So they had a run where like they were just garbage. If I'm not mistaken, they might have gotten relegated. I don't think they got relegated, but they were just garbage. And then that's when PAOK came like really to the forefront. PAOK won the league like not that long ago. Mm-hmm. Was it Aris? Is Aris the one yellow and black? Right? They've also been pretty decent over the last few years. They had a few Portuguese players that actually played there. They almost won the league a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, either. So yeah, I mean, anyways, but Slimani going to Panathinaikos, like I was saying, I think it's a good move for him. No, I'm thinking AEK Athens. That's the team I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, Sam, Slimani going to Panathinaikos, good. And how much do you think we're going to get for him, if anything?
He's leaving on a free, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a good move. I think honestly he could probably get I wouldn't say a better club, that's harsh, but the rumours leading him to Nottingham Forest back in the Premier
That's
League,
crazy.
more competition as well. And I think what he said was he wants to leave so he can still play for Algeria. And I don't know if he's gonna have loads of eyes on him at Greece, play for the playing in Greece, whereas like playing in England and like the standard competition, no disrespect to the Greek league, is just straight high up. And like if he goes to Nottingham Forest, he's not going to do well, and that's nothing against Limani, but it's just Nottingham Forest in my eyes. I think they've done good business, but they're not going to play well, and I think they're probably going to be near the bottom of the table if not relegated.
I think they're going to relegate it.
Yeah, but they've made some really good signings actually. I think they signed Diakite from same club St. Just as that, I think. So
Frankfurt, okay.
Yeah. Or Mainz, I think. Or maybe it was Frankfurt.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
No, I think you're right. I think it's Mainz. You're right.
But yeah, so they make good business, but again, I don't think it's weird.
Will he start there? That's my only thing.
I don't even know who their striker is, to be honest with you.
I know they were trying to get Kyle Larin from Besiktas, who scored against us, but he just went to Bruges. Let me quickly see if I even who's their striker.
I genuinely, I think the best move for him, if it could happen, is to reunite with George Jesus at Fenerbahce. If those rumors were true, which I don't know if they were, but I think he played his best football under George Jesus. George Jesus loves tall, lanky strikers. You know, Cardozo was one, Dost was one, and Slimani was also one. So, I mean, if he can get that move to Fenerbahce, I'd say grab it with both hands and push the go there.
Yeah, I'd agree. Though I don't think Greece is a bad. I mean, for guaranteed minutes, I don't think it's bad. I think for the Algerian team, he doesn't need to play in a big league.
I should also point out, even though it's not really Sporting News anymore because he left, that apparently they want Fadal and Slimani, who are very good friends off the pitch, I believe. And
Nottingham?
Sorry, Panathinaikos.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think it could be both of them going there potentially, which would be good, I suppose. But
we gotta start that partnership with our fellow brethrens in green. You know, they also have a red rival.
We're gonna start off the City group, but call it like the Sporting group.
Yeah, the Sporting group.
Prague could be there as well, I suppose, since we buy so much of them.
No, fuck Praga. I'm trying to think of another group. We can get Portland Trailblazers, or no, they're both
the Trailblazers.
The Trailblazers. Sorry, Portland. What's their name?
Timbers, isn't it?
Timbers, yeah.
Celtic, obviously, is a good one as well.
Celtic, yeah, exactly. Fair. The remaining from Ebola, like we mentioned, Vinag seems like he might even join Nottingham Forest. Seems more legit there. So they're really interested in Sporting players. Or it's just BS. Who knows?
George Mendes is a client of Nottingham Forest, I believe.
That's very true. Valladolid offered $7 million for Plata. Would you take that? I'd take that.
Yeah, 100%. It was 7 for 70% as well. And like I know people do like Plata, and I think he's a good player, but like if he's not going to play, just one. I still think he's quite a high earner as well. So one, get rid of that off the books, and also like. I mean, I'm not one to judge people for their mistakes, but like drink driving for me is just like something that I would personally never do. And if anyone had done it, and you know he crashed as well, and it could have been fatal, luckily. So, and I think Amorim does like a squad of good characters and good players, like you said before. Like we create good players, but maybe not good humans. I think under Amorim, it's been the opposite, and I think he does like that sort of character in the squad. So. Yeah, I mean, I take it as well. I think that we could potentially start a bidding war. We mentioned 2 episodes ago that he was linked to Leverkusen, and the episode before that, Leeds. So I don't know what could happen. It could be a bidding war, but yeah, I take 7 million.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, agreed. The last news has nothing to do with. I mean, Ojogu just reporting that Reading want Camacho. We touched on that. Since we're on the Ojogu though. The last piece of news, nothing directly related to Sporting, more so I mean, it's still related to us because it's happened to the league. I'm just bringing it up because Ojogu transition. Ojogu is Porto's newspaper. Thoughts on David Carmo, aka Inacio wannabe, going to Porto for Portuguese transfer, like for the most we've spent internally 20 million, 20 million. Any thoughts on that? They seem deep now in center back. They have Pep. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now. I think. Yeah, you're back.
Anyways, go ahead. I don't know if you were talking.
No. I think I heard what you're saying, that they're quite deep at centre back.
Deep at center back. They have. I was mentioning 4, but they only really have 3 options. And now with Pep, Carmu, I think they might actually be getting late back. And
I think he's getting sold to Turkey.
Late?
So yeah.
These morons. There's a player there, bro.
I would take him. Definitely.
I would take him too.
But a popular opinion, I think that is a really good signing for. I think it's a good deal for all round. Obviously, he's coming off an injury, and Braga can obviously reinvest 20 million, and that will keep them going for another few years. And Porto have needed a centre back who is young for a long time, and it's a good replacement for Mbemba, who's just left on a free.
Yeah.
And I think the sky's the limit with Carmel, and I think I can see him and Inacio being a partnership at the back for the future. Obviously, Ruben Diaz is still very young, and he'll be up there. But I think it's a really good move for everyone. I think Porto really do have a good player on their hands if he can stay fit and get back to that form he was sort of pre-injury. And now Luis Diaz isn't there, because I believe he was one who broke his leg. So, yeah, I mean, good move, I think. But yeah, I wish we had the money, I suppose, to get him at 20 million. But I'm also pleased with Saint just for 10 as well. So yeah, good deal, I think.
I think it's a good deal for both parties. I think it's an even better deal for Braga, because, like you were mentioning, he was injured. And let me just quickly share this, because it's just our good friend Dave Pereira, formerly on the show.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Dave.
The player is worth 15 million. He can't get on the field consistently. Call a spade a spade. A 15 million player should be starting on any Portuguese club. I think he's talking about Carmu there. I think he's agreeing that's a good sale. I think Braga are laughing to the bank with this one. I get that Carmu's young, unlucky on the injury, but before the injury, I mean, how many appearances did he have? Let's look here real quick.
And as well, getting that money for him means that they probably won't have to sell Horta, who is probably going to go anyway.
He's going,
yeah. It just means that if they wanted to, they could keep him, because now they've got 20 million and they can reinvest that, potentially give him a new contract if they wanted to. But I'm pretty sure Horta wants to move anyway. But yeah, just a good note there.
Yeah, no, 100%. But like I was saying to Dave, actually, they're going to make good money, because they're also they'll still sell Horta for like 15. They sell Al Musrati for like 12 to 15.
Apparently, they will only accept 20 for Horta.
Okay, yes, sorry, 20 for Horta, but I was mixing it in with Al Musrati. But I think that price will go down because it's Benfica. At the end of the day.
I'm pretty sure he said he wants 20 million, or I think it was like 16 and 2 players. And I think, do you know the centre back, is it Morita?
Morita or whatever.
Yeah, who's supposed to be very highly rated, but for some reason is being sold by Schmidt anyway.
Yeah.
So, unless it's like 60 million plus 2 players, 1 permanent, 1 loan, sort of maybe what we did with Palhinha, with Sporara and Borja.
Yeah. That's a good move for Braga, though, nonetheless. That's still a good move for
Definitely.
Braga. They win that because they have a Carmo replacement. They have that Roger kid who with more minutes will turn into a player. They have a good team. They still have a good team. The only shit thing is they keep losing players like Galeno and all of that. But anyway,
they've got that Vitinha striker as well, who I think
Vitinha looking like he's like
I really want him at Sporting. I think he'll do very good.
You'll still take another striker from Braga,
but he seems like the real deal.
But you won't take Tiago Tomás?
No, Paulinho and Vitinha are the real deals, man.
Yeah, but Vitinha that transfer fees through the roof.
I mean, it is, but I mean, we could give them something, I reckon.
Maybe. But anyways, I think that's it, dude.
Yeah, I think that's it. Again, thank you all for joining us. It's been a rather quick one. So yeah, thank you for watching, for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube, of course. Please subscribe. Again, 300 subscribers away from 1,000. It will help us out massively if we get there before the end of December. And again, if you want to follow Danny on Twitter, make sure you follow him there at Danny Saldana _. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, if I can find the right tile, is at Sam Fonseca on Twitter. So feel free to follow me there as well. And again, thank you for watching. Peace.